It was the 1 week while we scientific how skipped WhatsApp urge could factory spy on your telephone and while San Francisco excited to ban face acceptance technique. On technology camping we investigate our behavior to technique that can capture criminals, but as well be utilized to path our each go. While WhatsApp's proprietor Facebook spotty a shortcoming in the application, that permitted an violator to factory spy on a telephone in one skipped urge, it was extraordinarily outdoor on who might be over it. The company informed journalists how the assault had all the hallmarks of an individual business how planned in governments to supply spy how conducted above portable phones. It was wide estimated how the business in issue was Israel's NSO team, that has previous been charged of marketing spy named Pegasus to agencies that use it to display human rights activists. The College of Toronto's individual laboratory, that monitors digital attacks versus civilian community, has been monitoring the NSO team for several years. Its elder investigator John Scott Railton tells Technology Camping how Facebook's judgment to be so frank on who was accountable, suggests how it was cute fed up in the behavior of the individual spy business. He says individual lab had previous seen NSO's Pegasus spy utilized to path many decades of journalists, lawyers and each type of militant in Mexico, via the ancient fashioned technique of persuading them to clicking on a connection. But recent Saturday they had spotty the new technique maintaining the shortcoming in WhatsApp creature utilized to goal, poorly, a London-based humane rights attorney who planned in several of the Mexico activists. He says the spy is rather treacherous. One day it gets onto a telephone, how telephone is mainly love a spy in the sacrifices pockets, the mic can be rotated on, ciphered chats can be undertaken off the telephone, individual photographic, and so at. NSO team insists how its means include been utilized by law coercion agencies in the fight versus terror and broad penal behavior. The Israelite company told in a declaration, NSO's technique is licensed to authorized by the government agencies for the single goal of fight criminality and terrorism. This business does not work the framework or, following a strict license and checking trial, intellect and law coercion define how to use the technique to supporting their social security missions. With over the year, the business has been most belonging by Novalpina, a London-based individual justice team whose president Stephen Rind is now on the executive board of NSO. We requested him for an interviewing. He was not accessible, but his PR crew sharpened us to an outdoor email spelled in April, of the WhatsApp chop founded, to a quantity of NGOs consisting individual laboratory. At several long it defends the early hold of the Israelite company and promises how by Novalpina's property down there will be a continuous attention on concerning humane rights. We wait every business during our briefcase to act in consistency and in a way how is social accountable. Else business by the searchlight above observation technique is Amazon. At its yearly general meet following 1 week, its shareholders will discussion a movement inviting on the business to halt marketing its face acceptance framework to the U.S. by the government. The voice comes fair following San Francisco became the at first town to ban its social bodies of with face acceptance, among installation anxiety on obsessive observation in social places. Mary Beta Gallagher, presenting Roman Catholic institutions putting in Amazon, says down there are concerns both of on the quality assurance of the technique and the way it could be utilized, though if it's 100% exact we don't wish it to be utilized by law coercion since of the effect it could include on community. Fair love NSO, Amazon insists its technique is utilized in very favorable ways, such as help to discover victims of kid trade. Yet, requested if it should be tracking capacity improper use of face acceptance by its clients, Amazon Web Services technology evangelical Ian Massingham insists it is not their work. This order organizations to knob those issues are politics makers and by the government. Observation technique, if how is face acceptance or spy, is a really profitable production, enveloped in privacy. But the companies over it can by themselves wait far nearer tracking of now on.